you ready?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is A Strange Case of Sean, here with part 2 of chapter 7 of my story, 2 Words For Ya. A story written by me, with some assistance from ChatGPT. As mentioned, this is part 2 of this chapter, so there will be spoilers, but be sure to check out part 1 as well. But let's get started with part 2, shall we? The show opens with the Elimination Chamber match for the Men's WWE Championship. The entrants that will be in the pods are defending champion Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke Nakamura, Carmelo Hayes, and Bronson Reed. The two to begin the chamber match are Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. The match starts with an intense stare down. McIntyre with his brute strength pushes Orton into the corner during an initial lockup. Orton breaks the lockup and shoves McIntyre into the turnbuckle to create space. They lock up again, and Orton shifts McIntyre into a headlock. They run the ropes trying to knock each other down, but neither man will give. Drew builds momentum by running again, but is then hit with a snap power slam by Orton and gains him a quick 2 count. Orton transitions into his trademark chinlock, wearing down McIntyre while conserving energy. McIntyre recovers and overpowers Orton. He then takes control and uses his strength to throw Orton into the chains. McIntyre goes for it again, but Orton counters with his methodical precision and sends him into the chains and delivers a devastating DDT onto the steel floor. But Orton can't pin as he tries to recover. Both competitors are evenly matched when the countdown begins. Entry number 3 is Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura enters with a burst of energy targeting both Orton and McIntyre. He makes his way to a groggy Orton and delivers a flurry of kicks. Orton rolls back into the ring. He then delivers a running knee to McIntyre. Nakamura enters the ring to target Orton again. Orton tries for an RKO on Nakamura, but he counters and shoves him off and hits him with a running knee. As Nakamura gets back up, he comes face to face with McIntyre. They seem to agree to a team up and begin targeting Orton. They hit a couple of team moves on Orton. They each try for a pinfall, but Orton keeps kicking out. Entry number 4 is champion Cody Rhodes. Cody enters with the crowd roaring, immediately hitting a springboard disaster kick on McIntyre. He trades strikes with Nakamura before hitting crossroads on him. Nakamura barely kicks out. Orton and Cody have a tense face-off, unsure if they should rekindle their former partnership or rivalry, but McIntyre interrupts with a double clothesline. Entry number 5 is Bronson Reed. Bronson bursts into the match, bulldozing McIntyre. He clotheslines Orton over the ropes and onto the steel grates. He hits a Samoa drop on Nakamura. Cody goes for a springboard cutter, but Bronson catches him and throws him over the ropes and onto the steel grates. Bronson delivers a running senton onto Nakamura, followed by a thunderous tsunami to Nakamura, and eliminates him. As Bronson catches his breath, the final countdown of the match sounds. Entry number 6 is Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo enters with flair, immediately hitting a springboard leg drop on a downed Cody Rhodes. He uses his speed to dodge McIntyre and Orton, landing precision strikes on Bronson. Bronson tries to crush Carmelo, but he counters with a codebreaker off the ropes. McIntyre then hits Bronson with a claymore and eliminates him. We are down to the final 4. Orton, McIntyre, Hayes, and Rhodes. Melo shouts at all the competitors, showing a bold attitude. Drew then hits him with a Glasgow kiss. The 3 veterans then begin to battle each other. McIntyre and Orton battle fiercely. Randy delivers a vicious uppercut, which sends McIntyre straight into Cody's crosshairs to hit him with a Cody cutter. Orton sneaks in for an RKO on Cody, but he sees it coming. Cody and Randy then have a stare down. They then begin to trade blows. Randy gets the upper hand after hitting him with a Luthez press. He hypes up the crowd but turns around to eat a claymore from McIntyre, who then pins Orton and eliminates him. Drew waves bye to a defeated Orton. Drew looks to get to his feet but finds himself in a perfect position for Melo to hit nothing but net. Melo then pins McIntyre to eliminate him. Melo is so close to becoming WWE Champion and main eventing WrestleMania. He just needs to defeat the American Nightmare. Melo hits Cody with a dropkick in the corner, followed by a neckbreaker. He goes for the pin, but Cody kicks out. Melo targets Cody's head with some concentrated strikes with his knees. Melo then hits him with a Meteora and goes for a pin, but again Cody kicks out. Melo quickly climbs to the turnbuckle and hits a nothing but net, but Cody kicks out of a pin once again. Melo then hits Cody with some elbows, followed by a bionic elbow made famous by his father Dusty. The crowd boos as Melo mocks Dusty. Melo then goes for a springboard moonsault but misses. He grabs his stomach and we can see Cody is angry. He hits Melo with a series of clotheslines, followed by a bionic elbow of his own. Cody then picks up Melo and hits him with a crossroads and wins the chamber match. Cody will join NXT champion Trick Williams, Jacob Fatu, and one other in the main event of WrestleMania. The next chamber match will see Nia Jax defending her women's championship and her spot in the unification title match at WrestleMania. The entrants in the pods are Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, and Becky Lynch. The two that will begin the match are Candice LeRae and Bayley. Candice and Bayley kick things off with intense chain wrestling and a mix of high-flying and grounded offense. Bayley uses her experience to dominate early, slamming Candice into the chains. Bayley sends her back into the ring, and as she goes to pick her up, Candice hits her with a jawbreaker and follows that with a springboard moonsault off the ropes, creating a moment of suspense before the countdown begins. Entry number 3 is Chelsea Green. Chelsea enters with a swagger, targeting both opponents with calculated attacks. She then throws Candice into a pod wall and stomps Bayley in the corner. Chelsea celebrates prematurely, allowing Candice to roll her up for a near fall. Bayley recovers, landing a Bayley to belly on Chelsea, but is then hit with a code breaker by Candice. She goes for a pin on Bayley, but she kicks out. Candice then crawls over to Chelsea and goes for a pin, but Chelsea puts her foot on the rope. Candice drags her away from the ropes, but is then hit from behind by Bayley. Entry number 4 is Jade Cargill. Jade storms in as the powerhouse, taking control of the match, attacking everyone in sight. She tosses Chelsea over the ropes and onto the steel grate, and then delivers a devastating pump kick to Bayley. Chelsea then tries to ambush Jade, but Jade counters with Jaded and eliminates her. Entry number 5 is Becky Lynch. Becky enters to a massive ovation, immediately targeting Jade. As the chamber doors opens for Chelsea to leave, Bianca Belair enters and attacks Jade from behind. She also hits her with a KOD. Referees come out and escort Bianca out. Becky shrugs her shoulders and hits Jade with a manhandle slam and eliminates her by pinfall. Candice then attacks Becky from behind, who proceeds to stomp her in the corner. She is then pulled off by Bayley, who hits Candice with an STO. The crowd cheers. Bayley stares Becky in the corner, unsure if they are enemies or friend. The countdown ends. Number 6 is defending women's champion Nia Jax. Nia bursts into the match, attacking both Bayley and Becky. They cannot cut her down. Nia picks Candice up and throws her into the duo, laying waste to everyone. She then taunts the crowd. Candice picks up Bayley and throws her into Nia like running into a brick wall. Nia drags Bayley over to one corner of the ring and begins climbing the turnbuckle to set up her finisher. Becky runs in and drop kicks Candice into Nia, knocking her off and onto the steel grates. Candice then hits Becky with a Shining Wizard, but afterwards this leaves her open for Bayley to hit the Rose Plant and pin her for an elimination. The final 3 are Bayley, Becky, and Nia. Bayley and Becky have a stare down again, but they are both taken out by Nia. Nia hits both of them with headbutts. Bayley staggers to her feet. Nia throws Bayley into the ropes and hits her with Samoan drop and pins her. The final 2 are Becky and Nia. Nia delivers clubbing shots to Becky in the corner. She then whips Becky hard into the opposite corner. The ricochet sends her down to the mat. Nia taunts the crowd once again. She then brushes Becky's face with her boot. Becky finds herself in position for Nia's Annihilator. Nia climbs to the turnbuckle, but Becky was playing possum and gets Nia into an assisted powerbomb and sends her crashing to the mat. She then hits Nia with a stomp and pins her for the win. Becky Lynch has become the new WWE Women's Champion and will join NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez and one other at WrestleMania. Backstage, Sami Zayn is interviewed before his match with Jacob Fatu. He is asked about what his endgame is with him getting himself involved with Shawn Michaels, Bron Breakker, and the Bloodline. He responds, "This is not the WWE I know and fell in love with. This is not the WWE that I am proud to say I have given blood, sweat, and tears to. It has always been for the fans, but this new era just isn't what's best for WWE or for the fans. Maybe I'm showing my age here or just don't understand this change, but WWE was better in the good old days before this changing of the guard per se. This charge being led by pioneers like Shawn and The Rock, how could they be messing up so badly? I am all for the better of this business, and I do still love WWE, and I have no problem leading the charge and bringing WWE back to its former glory. Sami Zayn then begins his entrance for his match. Sami Zayn makes his entrance to thunderous applause. This is then followed by an entrance from Jacob Fatu, who is all alone. The crowd's disdain for Fatu grows louder each show. Sami starts the match cautiously, using his speed and agility to evade Fatu's early attempts at overpowering him. Fatu corners Sami, landing heavy strikes and throwing him across the ring with a belly-to-belly suplex. Sami counters a charging Fatu with a drop toe hold, sending him face first into the turnbuckle. Sami rallies, hitting a series of flying forearms and a crossbody for a near fall. He lines him up for the haluva kick, but Fatu rolls out of the ring to regroup. Sami dives through the ropes with a tope suicida, only for Fatu to catch him mid-air and slam him onto the barricade. He whips Sami into the steel post on the outside. He then sends Sami back into the ring. Fatu dominates with a devastating Samoa drop and follows up with a senton splash for a close 2 count. Sami fights back, dodging Fatu's moonsault attempt and countering with a blue thunder bomb, but it only gets a near fall. Sami builds momentum, hitting an exploder suplex into the corner and setting him up for another haluva kick. As Sami charges for the kick, the arena erupts in boos as Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa run down to ringside. Sami Zayn keeps them from entering the ring. This distraction allows for Fatu to recover, who then hits a thunderous pop-up Samoan spike, followed by his signature moonsault off the top rope for the decisive pinfall victory. The crowd boos the bloodline. Jacob grabs a microphone. "Sami, you say you're better for the business? No, you're a problem. You're a problem that I will take out for good, leaving you a pile of dust in the center of this ring, only for you to be forgotten, as you see me do to others. Make your next move carefully, Sami." He then hits Sami with the microphone. Jacob celebrates with a bloodline and taunts the crowd. It's now time for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match. We know Roxanne Perez and new WWE Women's Champion Becky Lynch will be headed to the unification match at WrestleMania, but who else will be joining them? Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and defending champion Tiffany Stratton receive spots in the chamber pods, leaving the match to begin with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Rhea starts, utilizing her power advantage, but Asuka counters with her technical prowess, targeting Rhea's arm with submission holds. Rhea lands a thunderous clothesline, but Asuka fires back with rapid kicks and a running hip attack. Entry number 3 is Kairi Sane. Kairi bursts into the match, delivering a high-energy offense. She comes to the aid of her damage control partner. She hits a springboard elbow on Rhea. They hit a series of double team moves on Rhea. Rhea regains control, hitting both of them with headbutts. Rhea then throws Kairi over the ropes and focuses her attack on Asuka. Asuka blocks one of Rhea's strikes and then hits her with a flurry of kicks. Entry number 4 is Charlotte Flair. Charlotte enters with authority, hitting Asuka with a series of big boots and then hits Kairi with a series of chops. She then makes eye contact with Rhea, reigniting their long history. Asuka and Kairi then attack them both. Charlotte locks Kairi in the figure 8, but Asuka breaks it with a missile dropkick. Rhea hits Asuka with a big uppercut, sending her out of the ring. Rhea and Charlotte exchange strikes, with Charlotte gaining the upper hand after a riptide attempt is countered into a backbreaker. Entrant number 5 is Io Sky. Io brings her aerial game, missing a springboard attack on Charlotte, but using her momentum to attempt another one that does connect. She teams up with Kairi to attack Charlotte, hitting a double team move to Rhea. Damage Control taunts at their success of weakening 2 of the greatest female wrestlers in WWE history. The final countdown ends with Tiffany Stratton needing to enter the match. Tiffany refuses to come out. Damage Control force the door open and force her out of the pod. She's surrounded by Damage Control, but only briefly as Rhea and Charlotte recover and attack Damage Control. She hits a springboard elbow on Asuka, nearly pinning her. Charlotte takes control again, landing a double suplex on Tiffany and Kairi. Charlotte hits Kairi with natural selection and pins her for the elimination. Tiffany gains the upper hand on Asuka, setting her up for the prettiest moonsault ever. Tiffany attempts the move, but Asuka counters it into an Asuka lock, forcing her to tap. We will have a new Women's World Heavyweight Champion. The crowd is shocked. Was her reign a fluke the entire time, or was she simply not ready for Asuka? Rhea hits Asuka with a big boot, followed by another one from Charlotte. Rhea and Charlotte stare each other down again. Io climbs the turnbuckle for a high-risk move, but they catch her and hit a double powerbomb and pin her together. The crowd cheers for their partnership. They then exchange stiff strikes. Rhea gets stunned, and Charlotte tries to hit natural selection, but Rhea protects herself. Rhea hits her with a knee to the gut and goes for a riptide, but Charlotte counters. Asuka returns to the ring and hits Charlotte with her mist. She then hits Rhea with a spinning back fist, knocking her down. She then hits a blinded Charlotte with a tiger driver and pins her. The final two are Rhea and Asuka, the two that began the match. The crowd roars as the last two warriors square off. Asuka stuns Rhea with rapid strikes and a spinning back fist, following up with a running knee for a close 2 count. Rhea powers back, catching Asuka's hip attack attempt and plants her with a riptide, but Asuka kicks out at the last second. Asuka counters a second riptide with an Asuka lock, nearly making Rhea submit. Rhea powers out and slams Asuka down onto the mat. She then hits one final riptide for the victory. Rhea Ripley wins the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and now the Women's Undisputed Championship unification match at WrestleMania is set. It will see Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch versus Roxanne Perez. The main event of the PLE will see the Men's World Heavyweight Championship be defended inside the chamber once more. The 4 superstars to have chamber spots are Bron Breakker, Kevin Owens, Oba Femi, and Dominic Mysterio. The first 2 entrants will be former friends Damian Priest and Finn Balor. The match begins with Damian Priest and Finn Balor locking up. They start slow with chain wrestling, testing each other before Priest begins using his size and power advantage. Balor counters Priest's aggression with speed, landing a dropkick and a sling blade, but they keep the pace measured as they await the next entrant. Entrant number 3 is Kevin Owens. Owens stares down the ring, then looks over at Oba Femi's pod. Owens storms in with intensity, delivering cannonballs to both Priest and Balor in opposite corners. He lays out Priest with a pop-up powerbomb and nearly pins him. Owens and Balor brawl, reigniting their long-standing rivalry, with Owens gaining the upper hand with a series of forearms. The chaos continues with Owens standing tall after dropping Balor with another powerbomb. The countdown sounds, and entrant number 4 is Oba Femi. Owens runs towards Oba's pod and immediately hits a cannonball into Oba, sending himself crashing into the pod, collapsing the bottom of the pod. Both men are laid out. The competitors lay on the plastic shards of the plastic inside the collapsed area. Both men are cut up from the damage. Neither man is moving. A referee runs in and calls for medical. Officials come in and rule Owens and Oba are officially eliminated from the chamber match. Balor and Priest continue their fight. The dueling balance of disdain and respect between the two men can be felt throughout the arena. Entrant number 5 is champion Bron Breakker. Breakker enters as a powerhouse, immediately spearing Balor. He and Priest have a brutal exchange of strength, with Breakker hitting a military press slam to take control. Bron gets to the corner and waits for Priest to get up for another spear. Bron charges Priest, but Priest sends him flying into the corner post. Breakker rolls out onto the grates. The final entrant is Dominic Mysterio. Dominic is hesitant to enter, but Priest welcomes him in. Balor recovers and attacks Priest from behind. He teams up with Balor to beat down Priest. Dominic holds Priest up for a sling blade from Balor. Breakker returns and hits Balor with a German suplex. Breakker sets his sights on Dominic. Dominic pleads for mercy. He goes to exit the ring, but gets grabbed by Breakker. He whips him back into the ring. Breakker notices Priest recovering and turning around. Breakker charges at Priest, but collides with Priest's quick counter with his knee. He then hits Breakker with a South of Heaven. Priest then gets hit with a springboard dropkick from Mysterio. Priest quickly recovers and then gets hit with a codebreaker from Balor, and then staggers into a backstabber from Dominic. Priest then gets hit with a dropkick from Balor into a turnbuckle. Balor looks to hit another dropkick into Priest. He charges to give a dropkick, but then catches a clothesline from Dominic. Dominic lays out his fellow Judgment Day partner with a sunset flip powerbomb and eliminates him from the match. The crowd is stunned. Dominic gloats over his betrayal of Balor. He then taunts the crowd. He doesn't see Breakker behind him. Dominic turns around and gets hit with a spear from Breakker and gets eliminated. The final 2 competitors square off in an explosive sequence. Priest uses his agility and strength to weaken Breakker, landing a spinning heel kick and a razor's edge for a near fall. Breakker powers back, countering a chokeslam attempt into a standing Frankensteiner. Priest dodges a spear and hits a running knee, but Breakker roars back with a monstrous powerbomb. Priest looks for a South of Heaven to finish it all off, but Breakker counters and hits a devastating spear, pinning him for the victory. Breakker stands victorious as he retains his World Heavyweight Championship and secures his spot at WrestleMania in the Unified Championship match. HBK joins Breakker in the ring. They celebrate Bron's victory. The lights begin to flicker. Bron doesn't notice, but Shawn looks around. He goes back to celebrating with the crowd. The lights then flicker on and off with some green light added in. Shawn and Bron look around and grow concerned. The lights return to normal. The commentary team acknowledges the strange lighting, but then sign off for the end of the show. The undisputed Unified Championship matches are now set for WrestleMania. Roxanne Perez will represent NXT and fight against newly crowned champions Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley from the main roster in a triple threat match, while Trick Williams will represent NXT as their champion and take on defending champions Bron Breakker and Cody Rhodes, and of course the Royal Rumble winner Jacob Fatu. Which superstars will emerge victorious and lead the charge of this new era in WWE? Well, this story isn't done just yet, so stay tuned for the next chapter. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out part 1 of chapter 7 for the NXT Deadline story. Also, be sure to check out the previous chapters as well. I appreciate all the support. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.